Let's hear from the coach. This is Behind the Beard with Bobby Smirniotis, Forge FC head coach and sporting director. Now, the woman who takes us there, here's Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Week 15 of Behind the Beard. You were just cleaning out your kids' stuff. They were at practice today. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, summer's still here. Schools aren't back in, so once in a while they like to make their appearance.
I thought they were in Greece, no?
Yes, they were. They're back.
Okay.
They're
when?
back. Last week.
Nice.
Yes.
They definitely play soccer. I saw them.
Oh yeah, they keep busy. That's for sure. Their mother spends a lot of time on the road taking them to trainings as we're working on Becker's free kicks.
Honestly, wasn't sure. At first, I was like, okay, they look like kids. I don't know who they are. But then I thought, by the looks of one of them shooting, I was like, is this someone from Sigma? Like, actually, I thought they were a call-up or something. How old are they again?
12 and 9.
Okay, very nice. They're getting there.
They're getting there.
Okay, one other thing that I wanted to ask you about regarding practice. Yesterday you were playing, and I wanted to bring it up because I remember at the coaches' clinic, one of the coaches pointed out to me something that he really respected about you was how immersed you are into training. So with that said, why do you feel it's so important to, be a part of the team in that regard?
Well, I'm immersed in training, I think, through my energy and the way I talk with the players. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of times do I get involved in training.
Fair enough.
I guess yesterday was one of those special rare days on a match day +2 where there's half recovery, half work, and the numbers were off, so I decided to give Eddie his day off from being involved and got myself moving there. It was a good day overall, though.
Yeah. I was going to ask how often you do it, so it's kind of hard to come by.
You know what? You do it once every so often to make sure the performance is top. So that make sure you don't have a down day. You leave off on a high, the players feel good. They're like, coach can still play a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you do it every day, you may expose yourself. So.
Right. So it's
keep it limited.
Strategically, you have to keep it limited. I heard that you used to show off a bicycle kick every once in a while. Is that true?
Who has told you this story?
No comment, but can you please elaborate on that? I cannot reveal my source.
Malcolm Duncan. Noah Jensen. Tristan Henry.
You used to bicycle kick at practice?
Yes.
What? That's crazy. I didn't see one yesterday.
No, you're not going to see that at this point. This was years ago.
Okay. Well, good to know that it did happen at one point.
Yes, I liked my acrobatics.
Mm-hmm. I will say, now that I've been watching practice over the past couple months, I feel like I'm pretty accustomed to the structure of it, right? Because, there's the activation, passing and finishing, gameplay, all that stuff. But something that I was curious to ask you was how you make the necessary adjustments based on prior matchups, but also future games, because I figure it's probably a difficult task kind of simultaneously accommodating both things,
Yeah, so when you look at how you plan training, there's obviously the tactical components that you have to look at, the technical side of things, and then the physical. So you need to find a way to marry all those together. So, based on where we are in the week, how many days we have between games and so on and so forth, it's, we find the right balance. We'll always go with match day -4, and, we've got 4 different things we'll work on. So based on the previous game, if we need to bring up something from there or it has to do with a future game, we'll go with one of those 4 or 5 topics, pressing, counter-pressing, counter possession, different things like that. Match day -3, same idea. So it's very structured in what we're doing in those days. It sticks to our match principles all the time. So it's not so much we're playing this team, we have to change our whole way of doing things.
Okay.
But it's more of what we need to refine, what didn't maybe go well, what can be improved, but what's also going well, and
within your own.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we keep on doing that because as coaches, it's easy to say, "Oh, this didn't go well in last game. Let's work on that." But you always have to reinforce the positive too, because there's, I think, usually a lot more positive in what we're doing than negative. So you need to keep on that track as well.
Can we talk about the match day -+ system? For those of you who don't know, and I might be doing this for myself, but what does this mean?
Yeah, so we played on Saturday. That's obviously your match day. The day after is match day +1. Traditionally for us, it's a recovery day in a full week of training. Match day 2 would have been Monday when we come in, and when you have a full recovery the day after, it allows you to do a little bit more work on the match day +2.
Yeah.
In the past, we've also done recovery the day after a game, match day +1, and given a day off, match day +2. But you have less time to work on individual things.
So you switched it back.
Yes.
Okay,
so we go recovery day the day after the game. If any players need to be in for any type of actual therapy or anything in there, they're in. Otherwise, full day off. Match day +2 usually is a day of a lot of individual work. So a lot of positional work, different things that players just need individually. Match day +4, -4. So we go from match day +2 to match day -4. So there's the switch.
Okay.
All right, you with me?
Yes, I know. I didn't want you to bring up the quick math thing again. So
a lot of small sided work. A lot of transitional type of play where we're working on both sides of the ball, and we'll usually do a little bit more of a lift, lower body, but most of it is done on the field through the exercises and the circuits that we do. Match day -3 is your biggest day of the week, where you're working on a lot of 11v11. So you have a lot of endurance work physically. Match day -2 is your speed day, so everything's done at match tempo. Match day -1. That's your precision day, as I call it.
Right, so
that's
day
you're
before.
getting your tactics, getting your last minute preparations ready to go. And that way in the week, you've never worked also on the same energy system twice. So it's one theory of doing things, and that's how we do it.
Cool. Okay, well, I want to go.
Do you remember all of that?
Yeah.
Just make sure you watch this back.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I'll have to go back and edit and take notes. But for some of the coaches that did come to the coaches clinic, we talked about this a little bit at the open practice as well. What do you think exactly that it can provide new coaches? Because I could see the wheels turning when we had talked about this, even at the open practice.
I think sometimes the biggest thing is just seeing the insight of what a day looks like in a professional club. And, each club coaches are a little bit different, but a lot of coaches also follow a similar path. When you look at methodology, there's maybe 2-3 common ones out there, and then it's how you put your spin on it, each and every coach. But I think for coaches working at the youth level or different levels who don't get the chance to work with the same players every day and all this, it's a way to see football and soccer, and it's utopia, because that's what we have here. Every day we show up to training and we know we have 22 to 24 players, barring an injury or something wrong with a player. At the youth level, you don't know if you're going to have 20, 16, 14, if a car broke down, somebody's parents are home from work. So, that's the beauty of working at the professional game. It's, to be honest, it's the easiest side to run training and plan, because everything's standard. They all have to be here.
You don't need to worry about the carpool falling through or anything like
exactly.
that.
So they're always here, and it gives you an ability as a coach to really focus and work on your methodology, work on your principles as best as possible. And I think that's a great insight for coaches to see, what goes into a day. It's not a matter of showing up here at 9:30, getting on the field at 10, done at 11:30, and gone by 12. We're in here as a staff 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. When we're on a good day, we're out of here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we usually still have some things that we have to take care of when we leave the office.
Unless I keep you for behind the beard.
There you go.
Then it takes a little longer.
Yeah, we're within the clock.
Yeah, okay. Okay, moving on now. When I was watching the post-match press conference from Saturday, you briefly touched on how Ottawa's looking, and you mentioned that within the last 7 or 8 games that they've played, they're kind of coming back into the same form from their original 2019 game, or I think from last year. Last year, you had said, my bad. Okay. It's interesting because they don't need to have, 80 or 90% of the possession to finish. So now, knowing that going into this weekend, my question for you is, how have you been preparing to kind of keep those opportunities that they do have, few and far between?
Yeah, it's always a decision you have to make going into these games. We've had a lot of success playing against Ottawa over the years, and in the last year, including this year and last year, and facing them in the difficult way that they set up and they play. And there's always 2 decisions you have to make as a coach. You can continue on the same path, which is try and be very good on the ball and be the aggressor and so on, knowing that that's something that they enjoy and that they want to counter with. Or you can flip the script and give a team the ball and say, you play. So that's always something that's open, and it's something we've used in the past with teams in that style. We'll have to wait to Saturday to figure out which one we'll use. But that's the beauty of the game. And I say if you want to win, you have to be very good at one or very good at the other. So although it's not my favorite style of football, when a team like Ottawa has used in the past, it's very effective, and that's also a measure of a coach getting something very well from the team. Because to win and to be a champion, I think you have to be either fully one way in the way you defend or fully one way in the way you attack. The in-between is a lot of random football, and what we've seen in our league this year is a lot of random football.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just don't know how you adapt to that because it's so different.
Well, it's different if you haven't faced it. We face it a lot.
Right.
In all of our games.
Okay, my bad. So you're
they just do it very well.
Right. Okay, so I see what you mean by you can't really be in between. You have to be committed to one side or the other.
Well, at least for me, a successful club. We've been a successful club over these years, playing an attacking brand of football. But with that, over the last 3 years, we've had the best defensive record in the league, playing an attacking brand of football. So you can defend by being very efficient in the way you do things in the opponent's half. So sometimes defending, the best way to defend is to defend, and sometimes the best way to defend is attack. And you choose, that you have to make sure you have full buy-in from your players.
Yeah, you're right.
Because they're both very difficult to do.
I remember you saying that even in some of these games where you feel like you aren't at your best, you're still coming away with some of. I think G actually has the most clean sheets in the league right now. You can see it. Anyways, this weekend you actually get to go away. So what does a away trip look like for you guys? Walk us through.
Yeah, a lot of nothing. A lot of spare time.
You're not visiting like the Parliament buildings or anything?
No.
Like that?
I've seen that. You know what? It's pretty close to our hotel, so sometimes we'll go for a walk.
Yeah.
Depends on what time we get there the day before the game, just because, we'll review what we have to review. And if we feel like some fresh air, it's like 3-4 blocks away. So we'll spin around the little downtown area in Ottawa, but the day of the game, it's a lot of nothing.
I heard a funny story yesterday about the final last year in Ottawa. Some of the guys were, just having fun on their scooters down in downtown Ottawa. And I think Seba and Chris ended up going on a trip that was accidentally a little bit too long, and they didn't know where to drop off their scooters. Noah told me to ask you about this because that's as far as I know.
Yeah, what's come out of that is we're a day before the final, and we've got one guy getting into a team meeting right on time, and one guy missing. Yeah. And from that came Chris Kalongo's emergency speed. Chris Kalongo, if you know him, he's not a guy who moves at the quickest of paces.
No.
Right? In everything he does. But on that day, he claimed to have used his emergency speed to get back to the meeting. So that stuck with everyone.
So
none of us saw it, because we were in the room waiting, but he did say he used emergency speed to get back. So we're still waiting to see it live.
Live.
In real time.
So the two of them are riding their scooters downtown. They don't know where to drop them off. So Seba ends up giving his scooter to Chris.
Yes. I think they had a problem, and I don't know how this works, but putting the scooters back into that little parking thing, and then getting locked or something.
So I'm just picturing Chris like riding both.
So Seba, being Seba, just left it and probably said, I'm getting to the meeting on time today, and left his buddy out there on his own.
No, hung out to dry. So Chris just eventually came in like a few minutes late kind of thing?
Yes.
Right.
Emergency speed.
Emergency speed. Heard it here
when
first.
he got into the room, he was not sweating. So
really? Maybe he just rode. Maybe he just rode the scooter all the way to the meeting. All right, Bobby, that's gonna wrap it up there. I'm gonna have to follow up with Chris next week, maybe on the emergency.
I think you'll have to.
This has been Behind the Beard with Mackenzie Barwell and Bobby Smirniotis. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.
Funny thing is, I don't think Coach's beard is real.
Do not. Is this on? Ready? So
that's a crazy take.
Listen, he grew it during COVID.
It just appeared.
And then we're doing Zoom. 1 week he had no beard. Next day, full beard. There was no in between.
No growth.
There was
Do you know what?
There was no in between.
I have not seen a photo.
I challenge you to find a mid beard Bobby.
Now that I think about it,
exponential growth out of nowhere.
100% feels like 0 to 100.
Yeah, literally.
Welcome.
So there's some questions about the validity of your beard, by the way.
About the what?
Thank
What do you mean the validity of